For over 1,200 years, no one dared to enter the prison chamber of a creature older than the stars themselves. Sealed beneath a forgotten base, it waited in silence, watching, remembering, and calling out to only one person across time and space. But when Captain Solenvred finally arrived, the truth it revealed could either save the galaxy or bring about its final fall. What if the most feared being in history wasn't the enemy, but the warning we ignored? If you are new to the channel, then please subscribe to the channel and like the video and tell us where are you watching from. Now, let's jump into the story. The cold hum of the deep space facility buzzed through the walls of Outpost Vora 9. The lights flickered, as they always did, casting long shadows down the empty metal corridors. It was supposed to be an abandoned monitoring station, but someone had summoned Captain Solenvred here. Someone with power and secrets. Captain Vred stepped off the transport shuttle with a frown creasing his brow. He had seen war. He had commanded fleets. But something about this place made his chest tighten. It wasn't fear. It was the silence. Deep, still, heavy. An officer stood waiting for him at the docking bay. She was younger than him, eyes sharp, uniform spotless. She saluted quickly. "Officer Lyra Morin," she said. "You're not going to like what you see here." Vred didn't respond. He followed her through the corridor without a word. Their footsteps echoed down the hall. The deeper they walked, the colder the air became. Frost curled along the edges of the walls. The lights dimmed even more. "This station was decommissioned," Vred said finally. Lyra gave a small nod. "That's what they told the public." Vred stopped walking. "Then what is it really?" She hesitated, then leaned in slightly. "A prison. For something that shouldn't exist." They continued walking. 2 doors. A fingerprint scan. A retinal check. And finally, a long reinforced hallway with glass panels along one side. Behind the glass, it waited. He wasn't sure what he expected. A beast, a machine, maybe nothing at all, but there it was. A massive form coiled in silence, scales darker than space, wings tucked tightly around its body. Its breathing was slow, controlled. The glass fogged lightly with every breath. "What is that?" Red whispered. "They called it the Silent One," Lyra answered. "No one's sure where it came from, but it's been here for over 1,200 years, sleeping, watching." Vred stepped closer to the glass. Something in his chest stirred. Not fear, not awe, something older, something deeper. The creature opened one eye. It glowed with an orange hue, burning and cold at the same time. "It's awake," he said. "It's been awake," Lyra replied. "Just waiting. Why am I here?" She looked at him with a strange expression. "Because it asked for you." The words hung in the air like dust. Vred turned to face her, but her eyes were locked on the creature. He turned back to the glass. The eye never blinked. It just stared. "This is a joke," he said. "I've never been here." "I've never seen this thing before," Lyra nodded. "We checked every record. It knows your name, your past. It spoke it before you arrived. Spoke, not out loud. It doesn't talk. It thinks. It sends words into your mind. Not. Everyone hears it. Some hear nothing. Others go mad." Vred stared into the glass. The creature blinked, slow, deliberate. Then he felt it. A whisper, not a voice, not sound, but meaning. A sentence that arrived fully formed in his thoughts. "You are late." His knees nearly buckled. He stepped back. Lyra caught his arm. "You heard it, didn't you?" He nodded slowly. "Then it's true," she said. "You're the one it's been waiting for." Vred shook his head. "This makes no sense. I'm a fleet captain. I've never been involved with any of this. I don't know what this place is, or what that thing is. This is a mistake. Lyra didn't argue. She just looked tired. We've had hundreds come through. Scientists, soldiers, diplomats. It didn't speak to any of them. Until now. Fred turned back to the glass. The creature had closed its eye again, as if the conversation was over. He stood there for a long moment, breathing, thinking. What does it want? He asked finally. Lyra looked away. Maybe answers, maybe freedom, maybe forgiveness. We don't know. But something changed the moment you arrived. Fred stepped away from the glass. Who built this prison? She hesitated. No one knows. The structure is older than any known design. It's part of the asteroid itself. Like it was grown, not made. Fred exhaled slowly. And it's been here all this time. Yes, 1,238 years. Sealed away, untouched, feared. He looked at her. And you all just kept watch. She gave a bitter smile. We were told to, but we never knew why. The silence returned, thick and quiet. Then the ground trembled. Just slightly, but enough. An alarm light flickered on. That's new, Lyra said. Fred stared at the glass. The creature's eye opened again. And this time, both of them heard the whisper. It begins again. Fred stepped back. We need to contact command, he said. Lyra shook her head. No. We need to listen. Captain Solon Fred had not. Slept. The dim light of the briefing room flickered above him as he sat in silence. Files, sealed with red digital locks, lay open across the table. Names, dates, maps. Most of it didn't make sense. Some of it felt like lies. Across from him sat Harn Kell, a quiet, gray-haired man with tired eyes. He had worked in deep core research for over 30 years. If there was anyone who knew the truth about the creature, it was him. Solon tapped the table. What is it? What is that thing behind the glass? Harn didn't answer right away. He leaned back and folded his arms. You want the short answer. It's a mistake we tried to bury, Solon frowned. A mistake? You mean it was created? Harn shook his head. Not created. Discovered. It was already here before we even knew what deep space was. Older than our colonies. Older than the Council. It was found on a mining mission nearly 13 centuries ago. Sealed in stone. Still alive. Solon leaned forward. Then why was it moved here? Because they didn't know what else to do. They called in the first council. The early founders. They said the creature had knowledge that could reshape civilizations. But when it started speaking to people, things went wrong. Solon narrowed his eyes. Wrong how? Harn's voice dropped lower. Madness. People turning on each other. Others claiming to hear voices from the stars. A council member vanished. Another took his own life. So they built this place to keep it hidden, to keep it quiet. Solon sat back in his chair. So you locked it away. For over 1,000 years. We didn't. Our ancestors did. We just kept the doors shut and followed orders. The room fell silent. Solon stared at the screen again. One image showed the creature's eye glowing, taken from the monitoring feed. It looked ancient, intelligent, awake. It spoke to me, Solon said. Harn nodded. You're not the first to claim that, but you are the first it called by name. Solon looked up. What does that mean? We don't know. But Counselor Demia thinks it's no coincidence. At that moment, the door opened. Officer Lyra Morin stepped in. Command just sent the priority message. Counselor Demia Roth is arriving in 4 hours. She wants to speak to Captain Fred directly. Solon stood. She was the one who signed my orders to come here. What does she want? Answers, Lyra said. And maybe something more. 4 hours later. Counselor Demia arrived, tall, poised. Her face carried years of authority and the weight of many secrets. She dismissed the guards and sat across from Solon in a private room. Captain Vred, you're here because the creature chose you. Solon crossed his arms. I never asked to be chosen. I was pulled off patrol and dropped here with no warning. Then I find out you've been keeping a living being in a cage for over a millennium. Demia met his eyes without flinching. You're right, and I won't defend the past. But right now, we have a bigger problem. That creature is waking up, and we believe it holds knowledge that could prevent a coming war. Solon stared at her. War with who? She hesitated. Everyone. Border systems are collapsing. Outposts are going silent. Someone or something is attacking from the edges of known space. And we think the creature knows why. Solon shook his head. So now you want me to go talk to it? Like some kind of negotiator? No, Demia said. I want you to listen. If it speaks to you again, follow where it leads. But understand this. The moment you step into that chamber, you may never come out the same. He looked at her. What if it's lying? What if it wants revenge? Then we're already too late, she said. Later that night, Solon returned to the observation window. The creature lay still, but its eye was open, glowing faintly. He stared into it. A pulse of thought struck him. Images, memories, not his own. He saw cities of light, floating towers, skies with twin suns, then fire, destruction, silence. His knees buckled. The vision ended. He gripped the edge of the glass, his breath short. Behind him, Lyra stepped forward. What did it show you? Solon turned. The past or the future? I don't know. He looked back at the creature. But it's trying to tell us something. Something big. The lights flickered again. The hum of the bass grew louder. A low tremor moved through the floor. Systems beeped. Alerts flashed. Lyra checked the console. That's not from outside. It's coming from the chamber. It's shifting energy. Solon didn't move. Then it's starting, whatever this is. The creature blinked. Another whisper entered his mind. Truth is not what they told you. The unspoken truth was no longer silent. And the real story was just beginning. The air inside the chamber was colder than Solon Vred expected. The metal door shut behind him with a deep hiss. No alarms. No guards. Just him and the creature known as the Silent One. He walked forward slowly. Each step echoed off the walls. The room was darker than before. Lights above flickered, as if unsure whether to stay on. The creature lay still, but its eye followed him. Solon stopped a few feet from the containment barrier. You brought me here, he said. Now what? He didn't expect an answer, but then the voice entered his mind. Not loud, not angry, just steady. Step forward. I will show you. Before Solon could react, the ground beneath him glowed. Soft blue light outlined a symbol beneath his boots. His body froze, not from fear, from something else. Energy, memory, connection. The world around him shifted. The chamber dissolved. The walls melted into mist. He was no longer in the base. Solon stood on a flat stone surface. The sky above him was violet. Stars moved slowly across it. Glowing roots twisted around his feet, but did not touch him. Ahead stood the creature. Smaller now. No chains, no barrier. Just presence. What is this place? Solon asked. This is the memory of a world that once was, the voice answered. The Silent One began to move. Solon followed. As they walked, images unfolded around them. A city of crystal towers. People walking freely. Laughter in the air. Machines floating above streets. This was my home. Before fear turned friends into enemies. Suddenly, The sky turned black. Fire fell from above. Towers shattered. The streets burned. They feared the knowledge I held. They feared what they could not control. Solon watched as the creature in the vision was surrounded by guards, captured, locked in a cage of light. They believed silence would save them, but silence only delayed their end. Solon turned to the Silent One. So you've waited all this time to speak again, to be heard, it said, and to warn. Solon looked up at the dark sky. Warn us about what? It is happening again. Different world. Same mistake. Your leaders silence what they fear. But the danger comes from beyond. The ground beneath them cracked. Solon stumbled back. He saw flashes. Border colonies. Burning. Ships torn apart. Unknown symbols carved into metal. He heard voices, not words. Screams. Calls for help. Then silence. Everything went still. Solon stood alone in a gray void. The Silent One was gone. Then a whisper. You must decide. Reveal what you have seen, or protect their silence. A pulse of light passed through him. His eyes snapped open. He was back in the chamber. The barrier still stood. The creature rested behind it. Only seconds had passed, but he felt years older. Officer Lyra's voice crackled through the earpiece. Captain, are you all right? Your vitals just spiked. Solon looked around. I'm fine. I think I just saw something. A different world. Or maybe our future. Lyra sounded confused. What are you talking about? Solon didn't answer. He walked out of the chamber, each step heavy with thought. Harn Kell met him in the hallway. Did it speak to you again? It showed me everything, Solon said. What happened before? What's coming now? And what we have to do? And what is that? Solon paused. We have to stop hiding the truth. They entered the control room. Screens blinked with system alerts. Energy levels in the chamber were rising. Lyra looked concerned. It's changing. The Silent One is drawing power from the base. It's not trying to escape, Solon said. It's preparing something. On the main monitor, new symbols appeared. Not from any known language, but Solon recognized them. He had seen them in the vision, carved into the ruins of Lost. Cities, written in fire. It's sending a signal, Harn said. But to who? Solon looked at the symbols. Not to who, he said. To when? Lyra turned to him. You mean time travel? No. Memory. It's waking up more than just itself. It's reaching into our past, pulling the truth into the light. The base lights dimmed again. A pulse rolled through the floor. A Silent One was not breaking free. It was breaking the silence. Solon looked at his reflection in the glass. He saw fear, confusion, but something else, resolve. The path beneath silence had opened, and he was already walking it. The base began to shake. Captain Solon Vred stood in the control room, eyes fixed on the screen. Bright pulses of light came from the chamber where the Silent One rested. Systems all over the station flashed red. Warning signs filled every monitor. Officer. Lyra Morin gripped the edge of the console. Power readings are spiking. If it keeps going like this, we won't have a base left to stand on. Solon didn't move. It's not attacking. It's releasing something. Memory. Energy. A message buried too long. Harn Kell leaned over another panel. Containment. Systems are failing. The core can't handle this kind of surge. We have minutes, maybe less. Solon turned to them. What if we stop trying to contain it? What if we let it finish? Lyra looked at him in disbelief. You want to lower the defenses. Captain, that thing could destroy everything. Or it could save everything, Solon said. I saw what's coming. We can't win this with weapons. We need truth. And the truth is inside that chamber. The ground trembled again. Lights flickered, then steadied. Solon stepped forward, opened the shield, just enough to let it speak, not to escape, but to connect. Harn hesitated, then entered the code. The barrier surrounding the creature shimmered. Light bent around it, forming a ring. The air changed. It was warmer now, quieter. The Silent One rose. Not with force, with grace. Its wings unfolded slightly. Its eye opened wide. A voice filled the room. Not through speakers. Not through sound. But inside every mind. I ask for no worship. I ask for no fear. I ask for a chance. Images appeared on every screen. Not just in the base. Across systems, across colonies, ancient symbols. Forgotten maps. Records once deleted now returned. A network of knowledge spread like fire. In command stations, officers froze. In distant cities, people looked up as lights passed through the sky. The Silent One was reaching the entire galaxy. Solon stood still, letting it happen. "What are you showing them?" he asked. The story of what came before. The mistake that ended worlds. The chance to not repeat it. Harn stared at the data. It's broadcasting at frequencies that don't exist on our charts. It's not just speaking to machines. It's speaking to minds. Lyra looked out the window. What happens when it stops? Solon took a deep breath. We change. Or we fall. Suddenly, alarms returned. But different this time. External sensors picked up a fleet. Not human, not known. Ships made of black metal. Silent, fast, approaching from deep space. Harn gasped. Those are the ones from your vision, aren't they? Solon nodded. They're here. Just like the Silent One warned. Lyra began typing fast. Defenses are online. But we're outnumbered. We won't hold them off. The Silent One looked at Solon again. Let me connect. Through the core, I can shield this place, for a time. Solon hesitated. What will it cost you? I am not what I once was, but I can give you light. Enough to see the path. The chamber filled with golden energy. It poured into the base systems. Shields rose higher than ever before. Every console glowed. Outside, the dark fleet stopped, not attacking, just watching. The power from the Silent One held them back. Harn whispered, "How long will it last?" The creature's voice was softer now. Long enough to prepare, long enough to choose. Solon stepped closer to the glass. You said truth has weight. Is this what you meant? Truth is light, and light reveals all things, even what we fear. The chamber dimmed. The creature sank low, its energy fading. Solon reached out and touched the glass. You've given us a chance. We won't waste it. The Silent One blinked once. Do not forget. Silence is not peace. It is only waiting. And then it went still. Not dead, not gone, just resting. Outside, the enemy fleet began to move again. But slower, cautious. The shield held. In the control room, Lyra sat down. What now? Solon looked at the data, streaming across the screens. Now we tell the truth. To everyone. We show them the light. He turned to Harn. Send the records, all of them. Every system. Every outpost. Let them see what came before. Harn nodded. They won't all believe us. Some will, Solon said. And that's enough to begin. The base lights steadied. The shaking stopped. Outside, the stars burned a little brighter. Inside, the weight of light remained. And for the first time in centuries, the silence had purpose.